Hello everybody, what is going on? Welcome to the channel. As we can see today, we're riding this beautiful MT700 from CFMOTO. Before we start riding, I'll tell you about specifications. We have 699cc engine. This is a parallel twin engine which puts out 68 horsepower and 60 Newton meters of torque. We have 320mm dual disc up front, and we have CFMOTO calipers. This is 4-piston CFMOTO caliper. I don't really know whether those calipers are good or bad, but on VOOM 500, those CFMOTO calipers were really crisp. From behind, we have one pretty big single disc with 1 or 2-piston caliper. So stopping power of this bike is supposed to be good. However, the weight, the car weight of this bike is 240 kilograms. Without any cases. As you can see, we have this case, so it's gonna be even heavier than that. Speaking about the suspension, we have this beautiful front fork which is adjustable. So over here we have tension, compression. It's really nice to see an adjustable front fork. The price of the bike is only 29,000 RB. And this is probably the biggest plus of this bike. It's super affordable. From behind, we also have this beautiful monoshock, which is probably adjustable as well. The tank capacity is 20 liters, so you can ride for a long time. MT700 has dual channel ABS. We also have traction control. This bike has a heated seat and heated grips. By the way, there's a button over there. I'll show you. Just like on MT450, where you can turn traction control and rear ABS off. The handlebars are very big. This is a big, massive motorcycle. I feel very comfortable on this machine, but it does feel very heavy. Design-wise, you can see right away that it doesn't look like MT450. It does want to look like MT800. And if you're a fan of this bulky design, this bike is going to be very suitable for you. One more thing, dude, is that we have this beautiful windshield over here, and it's adjustable, so you can bring it up and down. Let's listen to the engine. All right. Ooh, yeah, it's pretty heavy. Oh, we don't have a soft limiter. It doesn't sound too impressive. This is not 270-degree crank. This is 180-degree crank. Well, it is what it is. I feel like it is time for us to put it in the first gear. And let's go, guys. Well, is it heavy? Yeah, it is. Can you still maneuver around? Well, of course you can. Is it pleasant? Yes and no. Well, I can still lean the bike. I can still maneuver around, but it's not very responsive in terms of the suspension. It's very soft. It feels like a ship. Well, not too bad. You know what? As I try to stop, I don't feel like I like the brakes much. Once you hit the brakes, the front end of the bike sinks in, so it goes down. The bike obviously decelerates and stops, but it's not as sharp as I wish it to be. So the weight of the bike is a little bit too overwhelming for the brakes. Or should I say that the brakes are way too weak for this weight. Well, actually acceleration is pretty alright. It's not too slow. And I'm well protected from the wind. So the windshield works pretty well. By the way, today is really windy and I feel very stable. I feel very, very stable. Yeah, I really like the gearbox. So with this gearbox, I don't actually have to use the clutch. We don't have quick shifter, but if you know how to upshift / downshift without clutch lever, it'll be really easy to do on this bike. Gearbox is really nice. Speaking about the dash, this one is an aftermarket dash, so I don't feel like we have to pay attention to it. But the first one is our stock dash, and I can see that it shows us tire pressure, it shows us speed, shows us average fuel consumption, and right now it's at about 5.8 liters. Not too bad, not too good. You know, we don't have dips in power, so the torque is available everywhere, which is really pleasant. All right, manhole, no problem. You feel very powerful on this bike. You feel powerful on this machine. All right, guys, bad terrain, bumpy terrain, horrible asphalt. Let's see how it feels. Well, I'm hopping a little, but it's relatively pleasant. Not relatively, it's actually really pleasant. Yeah, all those manholes, they feel like nothing. Well, so if you ride in conditions like these, this bike is really pleasant to ride. And you know what? All those little bumps or big bumps, manholes, they do not disrupt you from riding. They do not interfere with handling, with steering. This bike feels stable even on terrain like that. Can we squeeze through? Well, so this gap isn't too small, but it feels tiny while I'm on this MT700. So probably line splitting will not be very pleasant. Well, you see, guys, I can still maneuver around. Well, it's not as bad. It's not as bad. So the handling isn't very sharp. It's not very aggressive, but it gets the job done. Let's check the brakes. Well, I don't know. Not too bad, right? One more time. You know what? If you really squeeze the front lever hard, the bike still stops, and ABS is not intrusive, which is a big plus. Not bad. Okay, let's try to do a wheelie. Well, dude, this is not my bike and it's super heavy. I don't wear gear, I don't want to do any wheelies, but it comes up surprisingly easy. As you can see, the bike is maneuverable enough. We can make U-turns, we can actually swerve around, we can do anything we want. But is it as maneuverable and flickable and agile as MT450? Of course not. But again, dude, once you get used to it, it's not bad. And this additional weight makes the bike so stable at high speed. When I was going 120 kilometers per hour, we didn't have any vibrations, no buzzing. The bike feels well built. Alright guys, right now we're gonna measure acceleration from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour. I also want to see how far does the first gear go. We're gonna check the rev limiter on 605 SR and a K. The rev limiter comes at you so aggressively, and this is something I definitely need to check. Because for me, it's a big no. Ooh, we are really stable, my dude. Yeah, so unfortunately we have this horrible phone mount, and you might not see the dash, but we have Draghi, we have my phone. Alright guys, so 0 to 100 kilometers per hour was 5 seconds. Not bad, actually. It's easy to launch. The power, dude, is really linear. Very linear and very smooth. Uh-huh. 5 seconds flat. Well, 5:02. Not bad. The second gear went all the way up to 108, I guess, kilometers per hour, at least according to this dash. As I ride, I see that my GPS shows maybe 6 to 7 kilometers per hour less than the dash. But on average, the speedometer on CFMOTOs is surprisingly accurate. Way more accurate than on most other bikes. Alright guys, we're gonna do it one more time. Well, yeah, 5.2. Yeah, guys, not bad. It's not enough for me to get to 150, but overall, the acceleration is very decent. My best result was 5 seconds. It's really good, very good. The official acceleration of MT700 is 4.4 seconds. My body weight is at about 90 kilograms with the gear on. I also have a backpack, and we still have this case. So 4.4 seconds does sound legit. And you know what I really like? We have no vibration whatsoever. I feel like this bike is a great touring bike, and you can ride for a long time. My hands do not get numb at all. So when it comes to grip vibration, there's zero. Very pleasant. I'm actually surprised. I really like the engine. So far, my biggest complaint about this bike is the weight. I feel like 240 kilograms is just way too much. I don't know, guys, such a shame, because I pretty much like everything about this bike. The brakes aren't too bad, but you need to squeeze the handbrake really hard. Maneuverability actually isn't bad at all. So you can lean the bike. If you go, let's say, over 10 kilometers per hour, then the bike doesn't feel as heavy. But once you, let's say, stop the bike like this, if you tip the bike a little, if you're a beginner, this is definitely going to be a problem. Is this a good beginner's bike? Honestly, dude, the engine is really smooth. The bike is very easy to ride, but just because of this curb weight of 240 plus kg, yeah, I cannot recommend it to you. In my next video about MT700, probably we'll just go off-road. We'll try to explore off-road capabilities of this bike. Again, I'm a beginner, but I'll try to do my best. But something tells me just that this bike is a nice touring bike, but we cannot call it an adventure bike. Again, high-speed stability is very impressive, and I like it a lot. Can we do a power wheelie? Dude, we can freaking do power wheelies. Do you see that? This bike is actually capable to do power wheelies in the first gear. Oh, but yeah, this is not a good bike for wheelies because it's too freaking heavy. If you drop the bike, you're gonna say goodbye to your ankles. This bike is way better than I expected. Initially, I was very skeptical. I was thinking that nobody's gonna buy it. Why do you buy this bike if you have MT450? But now I see that this stability at high speed is something you would not get on MT450. Again, dude, 30,000 RMB. We have adjustable suspension. We have decent power. We have pretty alright brakes. But if I'm being honest, would I like to have better brakes? Probably yes. I feel like these brakes just do not belong to this 240 kg carb weight of the bike. Brakes is something I would choose to change. But if you go fast, you just definitely forget about the carburetor, guys. Woo. You know, in a day or two, I'll ride Vote 625X, which is a competition of this bike. Honestly, I don't even know what to say now, because I was about to tell you that Vote is gonna obliterate this little CFMOTO 700, but it's a very solid option, dude. This bike doesn't have big, obvious weaknesses. It's not outstanding, but it does everything really well. And even though we have this enormous 240 kg car weight of the bike, they've done a good job balancing the bike. Would I still wish this bike to be lighter? Yeah. But if it will be lighter, probably will not be as stable at high speed. So it's a great touring bike, and if you ride predominantly on highways, if you're not looking for something super light, and if you don't really want to bring your bike off-road, dude, this is a very solid option. A very solid bike. I don't know, I like it. But you definitely don't want to drop the bike. The throttle response is probably the best part of this bike. So it feels very good at high speed, and the smoothness makes you feel extremely good at slow speed. So the engine and the throttle, these two are by now my favorite part of this motorcycle. I really like it. I like it way more than I expected. And if I'm being honest, I really would like to have a motorcycle with the same engine, with the same throttle response, but a naked bike, let's say, which would be much lighter. It's surprisingly good. It's very, very well built. Currently we have 8,400 kilometers on the odometer, a little bit less. And build quality so far feels great. I checked the oil, engine oil is alright, but I don't know, maybe they have changed the oil recently. But so far, guys, reliability wise, this bike feels very solid. Again, it's not an exceptional bike, but everything it does it well enough. Tell me what you think about this MT700 in the comment section below. Would you buy this bike? Do you think this bike is better than the competition? Tell me everything. If you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and as always, I'll see you in my next videos. Bye bye everybody. Fucking ass. Bye bye everybody. Take care.